We've reached the last stretch of schematic design, and it's literally the ground your building will stand on, along with a few surprises waiting in the paperwork. Let's bring the topic home. First, circle back to money for a moment because it ties to something concrete. You probably won't run the financing yourself, but in most cases, you'll be asked to feed it. Financing can't appear out of thin air. Whoever's putting up the money needs to know the areas, the materials, the basic facts about the building, and those facts have to come from the architect. So when there's a budget revision or a financing decision in play, expect the people backing the project to turn to you for input. Their numbers rest on your numbers. Then, the literal ground. You review the geotechnical and soils report because your building is going to sit on that soil, and you need to know how good it is, how supportive is it, will it need remediation, and what would that cost the project? How easily will water find its way in? A lot rides on what's underneath, and this report is how you learn it before it turns into a problem on site. Next, read the surveys, the site survey, and every other legal survey attached to the property. It's your responsibility to pin down exactly how far the client's land extends, and within that, what you're actually allowed to build on versus what you're not. You're hunting for every easement, every right of way, every protected piece, and every strip the municipality might be eyeing to take someday for widening a road. You cannot afford a surprise like that mid project. The last thing you want is to proudly present a design that sits partly on land the city intends to claim back. And here's the honest part. Reading a survey is a skill in its own right. It isn't especially hard, but you have to learn the way surveyors label and describe their work. The good news is that it's fairly standardized. Treat it with respect all the same, because a survey is a high-level legal document. It settles who owns what, and that makes it crucial. A couple more land on your desk here. You may once again be drawn into selecting consultants, and quite often you'll find yourself dealing with rezoning or with land use amendments, almost as a matter of course, because zoning has a habit of lagging well behind the times. It's forever in need of updating. Sometimes the change is huge and comes from the top down. Think of the recent moves in Ontario, where whole swaths of land across every municipality were pushed to change their zoning and pushed significantly. Now let's close with the surprises, because this is the part nobody really warns you about. Even after 30 years of practice, with a long string of small projects behind you, single-family houses included, this work can still blindside you. The first time you're told you need approval from the Ministry of Transportation just to do a modest back addition on a house, it stops you cold. The reason turns out to be proximity. You were too close to a major highway, something like the 401, within roughly 150 meters of the corridor, and that alone pulls the ministry into the picture. The same kind of thing happens near airports. There, you need approval for the height of your building no matter what the local zoning allows, because the one thing nobody will tolerate is a plane clipping the top of your project. There's a long tail of little requirements like these, and the unsettling truth is that you can't always see them coming. And that's schematic design, start to finish. It's the phase where the building takes its first real shape, fed by the program, the site, the budget, and the schedule, sharpened by your consultants, disciplined by the code, and grounded in what the soil and the surveys will actually allow. Get this phase right, and everything downstream has something solid to stand on. Thanks for spending the time with us, and we'll see you in the next topic.